So again, my name is Mike Parrish. Yes, the title is obnoxiously long. I'm the Director of Customer Experience, Service Design, and Application Development. The big piece there is that we own all of the lifecycle design and communication structure from the point that you are no longer a prospect all the way through up to 7 years after you choose to leave the family, which we bring you back. My job there is really to automate and streamline as much of that as humanly possible, so that your interactions with us are not only nice, but boost our CSAT, which I also own. So it's a really unique place to be in, to being able to build we have a dedicated development team that supports that, so we can turn things around with Quiq and combine it with things like Qualtrics and Salesforce and get those integrated at a pretty rapid pace, which is a big pivotal moment for us to be able to really jump into this. So I'll jump right in with a bit of history. I think all of you, if you've called a call center in your life, have made that face. So we were incredibly rigid. We were historically just all phone call. During high move season in the summer or holiday time, we had hold times in the 30+ minute range. I mean, it was ridiculous. And that also increased transfers, right? People would just get sick of trying to navigate the IVR. They'd yell at hit 0. They'd get dumped into care. They actually needed some pretty high-tech technical support. They'd get bounced around. I mean, all of those just demolish your satisfaction in your NPS. In fact, just a fun note is, despite perfect resolution, if you're transferred more than once, it's an average decrease of 20 points of CSAT in our industry, which is just crazy, just the repeat and all of that. So email, chat, and social media were less than 10% at the time. Emails, it was still incredibly cumbersome, which is why we did a great job of illustrating just the cost being still so high. I mean, social media utilized mainly for complaint airing, so I mean, it was useful for us, but still not enough traction there to move the needle. And chat, I mean, not completely asynchronous, at least in the time that we started this. People still had to sit from the desktop, not as slick as what we just saw. So we needed a change. And little did I know, during most of my time there, Dustin, who's our sales guy and I love, was hammering my boss, right? And how our relationship works is, I'm kind of the nerdy guy, and my boss is like, hey, this seems cool, will you check it out and make sure that I'm not getting lied to? So we hit it off, and it's great. And that's what got us into this. The demo period was lightning fast. We jumped in quick. Text and we launched text and chat in January 2018. We jumped off of, what did we have? I think it was called OLARC. So here's the simple ROI piece. I didn't put it all together because mine's more high level. We really have much more math to do to be super accurate, but I mean, calls are 1-to-1 agent ratio unless you're in a call center that I'm just unaware of, right? We hit about 1 to 6 on average. So what's really awesome about that is that we pull, and I actually showed this a little later slide, but we pull the cream of the crop from the call center who are just aces when it comes to troubleshooting. And we give them a digital platform which allows them to streamline this whole process. So, I mean, we have guys who know what they're talking about, they're very good at it, and they're able to talk to more people at once. I mean, it's a win. So just to toss that number out, we did do some high-level math, and we're currently at about, with the call reduction and the OpEx and all that, I'd write about 1.13 million annually. And we have a lot of work to do when it comes to just getting more into the channel. I was jealous of those numbers are phenomenal, especially with where you're pushing. I can't imagine what you're about to get to. So we do a lot of work proactively, so we converted 10% of all customer contact into the digital realm. We're at pace to hit 20%. We include actual SMS function as well as all of our DIY structures. We have a lot of proactive elements I'll show shortly that are designed to really let you fix the things yourself so you don't have to contact anybody. But should you choose to, you can simply respond to those notifications, right? So proactively inform customers via notifications, send attachments to your customers via SMS, engage with GIFs, emojis, links. We really like to let the agent have their own emotion and mirror what the customer's doing. There are customers that are all business, we can reply with that. There are customers that like to use GIFs and poop emojis and whatever else. That's a lot of fun, so we mirror that. But the big piece here is you put the when and how of the customer communication back into their hands. And we saw some really cool stuff with that. So I'm gonna come jump back and forth between stuff we've tested and built, and then how we went about building this into our center, right? So Multimedia Calls is relatively new. This is, in my search for alternates to the IVR, this is one of our ways to streamline the customer experience on the call center floor while also being selfish 100% and getting them to reunite with digital. So I want you for a moment to imagine somebody in your life that technology just seems to shun. And I want you to imagine that they somehow own multiple cameras, and those cameras go offline, and they now have to call and troubleshoot. And that's third-party troubleshooting. So you're calling somebody, this person on the other line has no idea what they're talking about. They have to describe to you the problem, and you as the agent have to ascertain not only the issue, but the resolution blind. I always give this presentation and talk about my grandmother in that sense, and you're on a 2-hour call minimum, man. And the year after that, you're going to probably have to schedule the job anyway. It's ridiculously costly. However, with Quiq, what we've been able to do is kind of create a one-way queue that attaches back to my main queue on the back end. So what I mean by that is, instead of doing that whole song and dance, our agent will simply say, hey, customer, I'm going to text you from this number. And when you get to the text message, simply respond with a video or image of what you're experiencing, and we'll take it from there. So it completely cuts multiple minutes out of the phone call by being able to ascertain the problem instantly versus a yes word. They take care of the issue from there, close the conversation. I mean, most of it's handled over the phone from that point. But what's nice about the sticky routing that we have is we keep all of them unavailable. So no conversations ever come back to them should they be straight shot into the queue. Instead, they come back to my team, which is the selfish part of that. So a lot of fun there, really able to streamline a lot of troubleshooting elements that would work in multiple industries, but it's been a real blessing as far as the security industry is concerned, considering the vast number of products we support. Alrighty, real-time job SMS notifications. We love our outbound notifications and automation. One, again, because they get people hooked coming back to you, but two, they do a lot of call deflection. So we do outbound notifications for anything with a job. As soon as you schedule, should you change it, should you cancel, you're going to get updates. 24-hour reminder, who's coming to see you, what they're coming to see you about. All of it's automated and they're all two-way. So should you ever need to change something about the job we're telling you about, you just simply respond. You get a live agent within seconds, take care of whatever it is you need with the job, add something to it. It's all just done in the palm of your hand, no call required. So another guy we're jumping into, again, after going after the mind-blowing session, I feel like I can just skip this. But we do a whole lot with Apple Business Chat, and we're really pushing to get into that one. As stated, Google RBM, with I think some of their rollout's been a bit slower, so we're really focused on ABC at this point. But the branded scenario that you guys can see is just glorious. Customers love it. They love how it feels. They love how safe it makes them. This is actually Brinks. All of the rich messaging you get from it just really enhances the experience, right? So I don't know if y'all can see those as well, but these conversations are all about our dropship process. So we have two. So dropship process here is anytime you order any product from us, we say, hey, get excited, man. This thing's on the way. By the way, here's your tracking number. We pull that live from FedEx, so you can track your product within seconds of ordering it and getting off, the message in which you bought it. And then the really exciting one is the one on the far left is, hey man, this thing's sitting at your doorstep, your new camera, your thermostat, what have you. And by the way, here's a link to our knowledge base with a video that shows you how to install it yourself. So again, it links them back digitally so they can talk to us should they need help, but all of it is self-contained with the our go-getter level of customer base. Alrighty, so this is a question I get often, and so I've tossed it into some of these presentations, is which staffing a new channel, right? I mean, it's very hard to ascertain what level of engagement you're going to get up front. This was very new for us. We had a lot of the naysayer, like, our customer base is old, they're not going to jump into this, and so we baited, and that was proven wrong pretty instantaneously. But what we did is, since I have the unique pleasure of getting to own all of our communication structure, I turned literally every email footer into a button. You just use an href that you can click, and it would open your native SMS app, and you'd be able to text with us versus having to call. And so we slow grew that. I basically segmented out the customer base and launched this thing, 10,000 at a time, just to see what kind of take rate we would get. And based off of that, we continued the hiring process. I think I touched on this a bit earlier, but the hiring process, you're getting the call center agents off the phone, so you're going to have your pick. So you can really push the bar on the level of skill set that you're wanting that agent to come into. We will often take from tech support about 60 to 65% of all of our conversations are all troubleshooting related. So we hire from that group. We teach them the customer care elements along the way via OJT. So we have a quintessential super agent within a singular queue. Training length for us is roughly 3 weeks. Just quick and getting them up to date with what else they haven't done. All right, so more promoting a new channel, like I stated, the first thing we did was every email. Email campaigns completely dedicated. So we have something called the Happy Path. So what Danny was referencing after you leave activations and we've welcomed you and everything's working and you're very excited, based off of what you've purchased and how you use your system, we pull all that metadata in and then set you on a communication path that's unique to you. So it talks about the products you have, it talks about nifty products you don't yet have, and we would like to cross-sell, upsell you with. Within said happy path, we have multiple references that are all about text, or messaging now. I guess we started there, but it's worked really well. I mean, it's literally, that's literally a shot of the email, or at least the top of it, where it's literally like, why call when you can text, and that's what we push pretty continually. We provide within the IVRs, as Lori stated earlier, we just have a messaging piece that's in there. It's in there constantly. We never take it out. I really want it to be automated, as we witnessed earlier. I think it's got a massive impact. Phone agents promoting the channel, like I showed you with multimedia call structure, and it's the main point of contact on the website. In fact, now on the website with Matt, I'm going to mess up what this thing's called, but with nifty new code, essentially, we convert you over. If we know that you're on iOS, we convert you over to Apple Business Chat instantaneously from the website. So chat for you is way cooler than it used to be. But we also have web chat as well. Alrighty, like I stated earlier, I also own the customer success platform. CSAT-wise, we saw a 14-point increase almost instantaneously. So why this is awesome is because we didn't change a thing about process. If you were getting told no on whatever you were calling about on the floor, same thing happened digitally. At least at the start. We got a little bougie later. But what's fun about that is that it's literally just the medium. The fact that this is asynchronous and easy, and I can text Brinks and put Brinks back in my pocket and get back to you when I please, is a big thing. It really shows that you hold and value your customers' time, and they appreciate that. Take rate in digital space and survey is more than double, so we instantaneously provide you with a survey. We do it a bit differently. We basically inlaid Qualtrics surveys into our closing messaging within Quiq, so the auto responds instantaneously when you say bye. We close the conversation, you're instantly provided with your Qualtrics link. A big piece of that is the instantaneous presentation, but also the ease of keeping you in the same medium is important. So call reduction without automated introduction, the SMS platform, we've seen an 8 to 9%, as I stated, up to 10% shift thus far. All right, so here's my favorite page. And I didn't know how nerdy I was allowed to get in this, so I just kept it for, basic text, and I'm happy to talk to this. I have flows, I have tons of stuff we could get into. So we are building all sorts of fun bots. And in fact, in my expert session this morning, Brad, our biggest conversation was, dude, what else do you see other people doing that I can build, steal, what have you? It sounds really cool. I'd like to test. So customer referral bot is my current baby. It actually combines all of our big platforms. So Quiq kicks it off with a notification to a customer that is fed by our Qualtrics API. So there are certain parts in the customer lifecycle where people are just happier. That's right after they activate or right after they get any new upgraded product. They're just pumped. So during that time, we know that you're super happy, so we'd like to capitalize on that. We fire off a notification that basically states, hey, Mike, you've been selected to refer a customer. We'd like you to be able to share your high level of satisfaction and VIP service with a buddy or friend. If they agree, all they do is pass us an email. The email piece, the change I'd really like to get out of, but with current TCPA fund, is to be safe. The prospect is talked to you via email. It's very personalized based off of that data. So we say, hey, Brad, your buddy Mike really wants you to have this same service, so he referred you. And because he referred you, not only will you get this awesome service, but you're going to get your pick of any free product once you activate. That data is passed to the back end on a couple of tables. Once the customer activates, referral bot picks that up and fires out a message to both of them, allowing them to run through a list picker to where they can see all the different product options they could have, select one, and it's automatically drop shipped to both of them. And then that picks up the text, drop shipping, and package delivery SMS I showed earlier. So it's a fully automated process that's we're about to launch. I'm very excited about it. Billing inquiry bot and data gathering bot, or our welcome bot, are ready to go as well. So they'll essentially act as a smart IVR for all of messaging. They're going to be at the front of all of our conversations. So phase one is verification and just routing. Where do you want to go? Now what's nice about Quiq and its massive flexibility when it comes to creating queues is I don't just have to drop you into a queue. I know my team pretty well. I know what they excel at. So I have created sub-queues under our main queue that all support different types of troubleshooting. So if you're wanting to talk about your cameras being offline, I got a guy named John who's like just the beast at that. That's where you're going to go if he's available. If not, you fall into the regular default queue. We have this set up for a multitude of communication structures. Phase two will be billing inquiry bot will kind of just evolve from welcome bot. So we'll start taking basic, highly repeatable question structures and having the bot reference the database in real time to answer those based off of your unique account. And then text commerce bot has been kind of my dream forever. So when I heard rumors about the coolness we just saw earlier, I was very excited. And I'd like to really point out, Mike, that the verbal version of that was so understated compared to what I got to see. It was pretty slick. So prepare to be harassed by me about starting that. But that's essentially what we're going to be able to do. So we've taken care of all of the drop shipping and fulfillment piece and automating that through messaging. The last piece has always been payment concern, and I think you know, whenever you tell us we're not in beta or test, or Matt, you let me harass you more about that. That's rearranging my Gantt chart for the rest of the year. Here are just some assumptions, just for folks starting out, that we had to deal with quite a bit, and it was really fun to walk through and see everybody's face change as we prove them wrong continually. But our customer base is older and will not utilize text. I mean, it's just not true. It's just, I don't know, I guess there's age-old adages about, you know, change and things like that, but we have the full age range of our customer base utilizing messaging. Slowest month-to-month growth that we saw when we launched was 137%. The largest was a 329% increase of communication from month to month. Customers want to call and email, not text. I mean, customers have zero problem telling you how they want to be communicated to, and making that available to them is all it takes. Again, we're super jealous. I think, God, man, we've had to definitely work much harder by comparison to the last example, but to get that integration. But what I will say is that people, once they do use it, they stay. We have a lot of repeat visits. Yeah, that's pretty much the biggest piece there. I mean, only beneficial for call centers. That's just not true. We've built queues across the entirety of the enterprise. This is my last one I'll really call out. So we have digital sales, which will be drastically impacted by what we're now going to be building. But digital sales, relocations, retention, your call center, your troubleshooting, field service, scheduling, I mean, literally every aspect of our business is digital capable. We started with one team, we've expanded to multiples, they're all interlinked in the back, and as you witnessed in the demo today, I mean, I can transfer you 40 times and you're not going to know unless we want you to. So, yeah, that's pretty much us. Do y'all have any questions, or yes?
Earlier you said that you had like a 40-minute wait time.
Yeah.
What does messaging have an effect on the wait times?
I don't have a wait time.
Yeah.
We don't. We don't. This is the busiest time of year. I think I've seen like up to 2 minutes. And that's really because we're offering a ridiculous upgrade platform right now that we're pushing up on all chains. It's our biggest marketing endeavor ever. Landing page, I mean, it's got everything all interlinked, including Quiq. That's the biggest piece of that, but overall, we don't have wait times anymore.
Mike, you mentioned typical troubleshooting call 2 hours. I don't know if that was an actual number or kind of anecdotal.
We've seen it, yes.
Since going to messaging, you mentioned that streamline.
Right.
What would you say that number's down to?
Our average CTS calls, so customer technical support, excuse me, is down to 8 minutes. That's the average. I mean, depending on what it is, so problem identification was a big piece we were able to cut out. Troubleshooting still requires customer effort. So depending on what it is, I mean, if you're talking about reconnecting your outdoor cameras, you may need a ladder. And that gets into the if and buts of what you're wanting to do. The other side that we're doing there that I don't have in the presentation is more mundane troubleshooting, like low battery. We actually get all that data in real time, right? So what we're actually doing now, well, I have it on my phone, but you're not going to see that, is we can see your panel type, we can see the event that comes through about the low battery warning. So we're taking all that data, putting it together, and firing off notifications. So while you're at work, before you've gone home and get to deal with the beeping of your panel, you know that you have a low battery. We send you a video that is for your panel specifically on how to change it. We also tell you where to obtain the battery. We could drop ship it to you, or you could pick it up at any of these stores on your way home. So just lots of proactive things like that on complete call elimination, as well as streamlining the troubleshooting process.
I want to point out real quick for people, because I don't know if you fully got it, all the automated pieces that Mike's describing there, but that piece of being on the phone, the whole piece there, that was no code integration, anything like that. All they did is have their phone agents be logged into Quiq.
Correct.
Which we don't charge per agent, so there's no problem there.
We have 350.
and they just literally are on the phone with the person and hit the start conversation button. put in that person's phone number
Correct.
and say, hi, send your email, send your video here, send your pictures here, and I can like troubleshoot with you over the phone. So
Correct.
there's not anything that can be built out around.
Yeah, no, and I'm sorry, yeah, I will do that continuously, please hunt me down and ask me anything you'd like, but, and that's also, so the sticky routing, I'm taking advantage of that as well for myself, like I stated, very selfish motive. But if when they, you know, they're like, well, that was pretty slick, I'll text back with this question. Well, I don't want that to go and interrupt the call center. They're gonna be, you know, they can be back to back, and having to try and balance an asynchronous communication structure versus an instantaneous communication demand is not easy. So what that does is it routes that return back to my main queue, my digital experience team upstairs. So it's natural growth for the platform while also increasing productivity on the call center floor. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys.